America, issues that unite, don't ignite. I am your host, Cindy Gross, also known as the Jewess Patriot, but you don't have to be Jewish to be a part of our show. And as all of you know, this week, it's been quite a week. And we're going to have a lot to discuss. And, of course, we're going to have the last in our series of patriotic entertainment with our award-winning playwright, Gary, and his team with a world debut. But before we get to that, I do want to mention that, as always, the disclaimer that the America First Warehouse, WGBB Radio, any of the outlets that air us, and of course Cindy's Corners Productions is not responsible for any of the views or opinions of our guests or the content of this show. So please be aware of that. And as many of you know, I open each and every show with my pearls of wisdom because my name is Zisel Perel in Yiddish, which means sweet pearl. So, as the Jewess Patriot, I would like to say first and foremost, for those celebrating the Jewish New Year, a very happy and healthy New Year. And many of us are going to be observing Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the day when the book is sealed for the upcoming year, 5786. Who shall live and who shall die, who shall suffer and who shall succeed, and a load of other who shall and who shall not. But most important, the idea is we get like a second cleansing and a resolution. And all of our friends, Jewish and non-Jewish, can appreciate that and can take part of it. And just saying, you know what, it's the Jewish New Year. It's going to be my New Year for resolutions too as we're in fall. And with that, I want to wish everybody Ashana Tova U'Mituga, and may you all be inscribed in the book of life, health, wealth, and all you wish for, including safety and security and worldwide peace. I guess I can stop now because there is not any news headlining anywhere around the world about Jews and or Israel. I'm just kidding. But it's not really a joking matter. It's quite serious. Let's be honest. Everybody is watching the world, especially the Middle East and the White House, because of the 21-point Gaza peace plan that was introduced yesterday. People are asking me and many in my circles if it's good, if it's bad, what's good about it, is it doable? The only way it's good and valid is if it's signed and everybody is happy and that everybody who signs it will actually follow it in years to come. To say it's great now, I feel it's a little premature. As we've seen in the past with other treaties, not just in Israel, but in our history, you see how treaties get broken, how fights start again. But the only thing I know for sure, for anybody who reads the Bible, everybody who knows history, wherever we are facing anti-Semitism, somehow Jews manage to survive and then thrive. I don't know how good the participants are taking it seriously in the Arab world, because this morning, as we were waking up in Jerusalem, or right outside of Jerusalem, two 15-year-old teenagers were attacked in a terrorist attack, and they are in critical condition in a trauma center in a hospital just south of Jerusalem. And as of this morning, I saw through social media, and here's the idea, don't always listen to social media, that the Hamas leaders have rejected the Trump plan, and then I saw something as we were going on air, so I couldn't check it out, that maybe something is brewing that the Hamas leadership will agree to it. So as I said, it's really a matter of fact of stay tuned. And as far as Jews, the area of Gaza is not the only area that we are concerned about. We are very concerned about the worldwide open anti-Semitism in streets, in public places, by government leaderships, and by public figures all over the world, like the UK and France and Spain. And one sure sign that something might be good coming out of this plan that Trump has put into place is that many of those countries' leaders have agreed to take part in this and support Israel in this, as well as the Muslim communities. So I heard Laura Ingraham say this, and I totally agree. If this should really come into play, and we do end up with some kind of peace agreement in the Middle East, not only does Donald Trump deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, but there has to be some kind of reward that just maybe would get him into 2028, because nobody else will be able to pull this off. But at home in our country, we also have a lot of issues. And you might call them Jewish issues, but they're really American issues. Take a look at Dallas, Houston, Dearborn. We are now, at a lifetime, watching America on the brink of falling into the hands of radical Islamic terrorists, whether or not local communities elect them, whether or not they are taking over the streets with or without permits, whether or not they are taking over social media. This is a very big problem in America. And it doesn't help that a 33-year-old who has never, ever held a real leadership job, and who we just found out is very wealthy, owning not bed and baths, but I forgot, Airbnbs in South Africa, Uganda, and other places. We have to really question where our voters' heads are and why he is attracting so much attention. You know, a year ago this time, nobody knew his name. And now he is the symbol of a worldwide movement, not just in New York and not just in America. Everybody knows the name Mamdani. And it's very, very scary. We have to think how he went basically from 4 generations or 5 generations, depending on the age you think of it, of a Gilded Age and the growth of the great superpower ever, to now talking about ending Wall Street, ending real estate empires, ending Broadway, because despite the fact that so many people on Broadway are supporting Mamdani, the reality is, the New York Times last week had an article that the age of the Broadway musical is over. They are too expensive to make, and nobody is coming to see them. They are afraid to go to Midtown Manhattan, even during the day. So I like to think that we are living in the time of a volcano. Are we going to let the ashes that come out of a volcano hit us and injure us to the point that we can no longer get up and recover? Or are we going to be those that fight the ashes? Are we going to be the partisans of the Holocaust that fought in the forest, that fought the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising? So, with that in mind, I want to tell you that I want you to think of voting for Curtis Sliwa for New York City Mayor, Jack Ciattarelli for New Jersey Governor, and Winston Sears, the person who is running in Virginia for governor, who was supposed to be on the show today, but unfortunately had a last-minute commitment. Remember, it's up to us right now to make the difference, because it's not just a Jewish issue, it's an issue of freedom for everyone. And since I discussed the idea of theater, I'm very proud that I have been able to do something unique with you and bring you readings of some really timely, incredible award-winning plays. So I'm going to introduce, again, Gary Morgenstein, because he's going to discuss and introduce his play. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us on.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and especially now that we are talking about, and it's been discussed in the New York Times about the failure of Broadway. Giving people the opportunity for some quality theater, great directing, great writing, great acting, great readings. I just want to tell everybody, if anybody's interested, please reach out to us. We will help arrange a live reading and a live performance anywhere in the country. We've done it. There are some dates coming up. And Gary is more than happy to help out anybody who wants to do a fundraiser, who wants to do a night of entertainment, and who just wants to share some quality time with friends and neighbors. Gary, tell us please about the show.
Well, it's called The Silence of Our Friends, and it's taken from Martin Luther King's quote, which has resonated in my head since October 7th. The quote of Dr. King was, "In the end, we do not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And I think in these times, these troubled times, you don't want to necessarily focus on issues per se. You want to talk about people, regular people, and how they're getting through life and how the world around them affects them. But ultimately, it's about there's more that unites us than divides us, which is always a theme in my writing. And people just want to find happiness and want to find some peace and want to find some love, which, as everyone knows, is easier said than done, which is why you write plays and putting the characters through the hoops until they get there.
Well, it sounds incredible. Please introduce your cast, and then I'm going to, of course, we have the wonderful director, Michelle Coppolino. So everybody, please come on and let Gary introduce you all, and then we're going to do the debut of the latest play from Gary Morgenstein.
Don't be shy.
Oh, go ahead, Deborah. You start.
All right. Hello, I'm Deborah Trinelli. I'm happy to be with you again, Cindy. I am playing Marie Caputo Stein in this reading today.
Check. Jackie?
Yeah. Hi, Jackie Kusher. I am playing Aaron Stein today.
And Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Topora, and I am reading for Annie Stein.
Gary, you'll set it
Yes,
up?
I'm going to say, as Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, said, it's always best to start at the beginning. So I think we will start at the beginning. Lights up. Take it away, Michelle and everyone.
As you know, it's called The Silence of Our Friends. Act 1, Scene 1. Stein's living room. I'm going to cut me off right here. I apologize. Stein's living room, Brooklyn, evening, present time. A well-lived furniture amid mess, as if the inhabitants can't be bothered. In a sports jacket and tie, Aaron Stein, a 60-ish white male struggling to hold on to whatever's left, searches the couch cushions.
Marie, where's my keys? Put something down for a minute. Marie!
Marie Caputo Stein, in the late 50s, a white female, always the first one out of the foxhole, enters in casual clothes and a red Caputo plumbing baseball cap.
Did you look in the freezer?
And why would I do that?
Because that's where you put them the last time.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I did that once. One time.
That we know of.
I've been preoccupied. Now it's tattooed on my forehead, a scarlet ice cube.
Marie opens the freezer and tosses the keys to Aaron, who drops them.
And where are you going so late?
I have an emergency, a flooded basement in Bay Ridge.
And leaks never sleep, and neither do we.
At Caputo's
Plumbing.
What's with that?
It's a yarmulke.
Yeah, and since when do you wear a yarmulke?
Because I'm going to a synagogue. It's the dress code.
Well, then put it on there.
What if I run into someone on the way?
So what? None of the Jews we know wear them.
What if it's a Jew I know casually?
Like who?
What's it matter? Say Mark Siegel. Where are you going, Aaron? Well, my fellow Hebrew, I'm off to Congregation Beth Yaakov to give a lecture. Like that, he says, with no yarmulke.
So when you see this person you just made up, put the yarmulke on.
Does this bother you?
What do I care?
You act like you do.
Look, honey, I'm in a hurry to stop a flood. I just gave you the keys, Aaron.
Yes, I remember, Marie. I'm making sure I have my wallet.
You got your notes?
You think I need notes?
Did I say that?
Go smash the air conditioner and see how long it takes me to fix it. Go on. Use this. Whenever you're ready, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll be sweating our asses off in July.
So that's what you really think of me.
It's okay to be nervous, honey.
About what? I taught this exact class for 23 years at Metro Tech College. All over the city, my former students are fixing their own toilets instead of being ripped off by plumbers.
Oh, well, thank you, dear. But it's been 4 years since you stood in front of a class.
Muscle memory.
Their daughter, Annie Stein, 30-year Chinese-American woman who battles against memories in the shadows, enters.
Annie, tell your father how good he looks.
I don't need fake compliments.
No, not you. I'd say you look like a somewhat well-preserved man with a specific religious persuasion.
That's it?
I've had a long day.
Well, I'm off.
You want a lift? It's on my way.
No, I'm good. I need to, walk, process, ponder.
Aaron looks around somewhat distinctly. Marie's text pings. Marie's text back, grumbling. He searches the refrigerator.
I'm finally off.
Good luck, honey. Mwah. Annie?
Shalom.
Aaron lingers a moment before exiting.
What was that about?
Some synagogue has a new how-to series. Aaron's giving a lecture on being your own building super, so he's pretending to be a Jew.
And I didn't get a ticket?
Oh, cut him some slack. He's finally trying.
Marie picks up her briefcase.
I just got here.
There's water up my butt. Who should I call? Caputo Gynecology? Caputo Furniture? No, let me call that beautiful woman with a talking wrench on the commercial.
You're the boss. Why don't you send one of your elves?
I did, but Dr. Karami is a big client who brings in business from the Lebanese community, so I have to suck up. If I ever get there.
I'm seeing Valerie tomorrow.
Why?
Because she's my daughter.
Who you only see every other Saturday.
I have to work this weekend, so I switched to a Thursday.
And the asshole said okay?
Dr. Paul's got a new girlfriend. Maybe she's turning him into a human.
Yeah, or maybe Paul wants to dump Valerie on you so he can spend more time with this woman.
Don't worry, I won't bring Valerie here.
Like I don't want to see my granddaughter?
Well, you don't.
That's crap. I'm always asking about having a meal with her.
It's not here.
Look, we can't have that again, Annie, okay? Why don't you let me pay for your day out tomorrow?
I don't need money, Mom.
So you still have the job?
Yes.
And?
It's all right. Online marketing doesn't require great intelligence.
Glad to hear that.
Gee, thanks, Mother.
I meant there's less pressure.
Right. Can I crash here tonight?
Well, what happened to this apartment, Annie?
Nothing. My roommate met a guy and they're really noisy.
You're 30 years old. You should have your own place.
I've lost track of all the things I should have. It's just for a night, so I can sleep. You know how Valerie can get.
Okay. Anything else? Because people could be friggin' drowning in Bay Ridge.
The sooner you go, the sooner I can eat all your food.
Marie hurriedly exits. Annie opens the refrigerator and takes out a pair of Aaron's reading glasses. Scene 2. Stein living room, next morning. Marie enters in her bathrobe, pours coffee, and looks around the living room wonderingly.
Aaron? Aaron, where are you?
Puzzled, Marie turns on her cell and sips coffee. A beep signals a message. Marie listens in growing alarm. Marie hangs up, horrified. Annie enters sleepily.
What's wrong?
Huh?
What's wrong?
Kidnapper. We have your husband, Aaron Stein. Talk, Jew.
Marie, it's me. Listen to them.
That's the last time you'll ever hear your husband's voice, unless you do exactly as we say. We'll be in touch. The call ends. Annie bursts out laughing.
What's so friggin' funny? Stop that.
Sorry. But come on. Why would anyone kidnap Aaron?
Why not?
How about that Aaron Stein is the least important person in Brooklyn?
He had a very distinguished academic career.
Teaching how to insulate your windows. Please. You don't really think this is real?
Look, I just had a friggin' kidnapper call me. What else would it be? That's Aaron's voice. His afraid voice. After 28 years, I know.
But what if, just what if, Aaron's playing a joke?
Aaron playing a joke?
Mhm.
Now, your father, Jimmy, that was a funny man. An asshole, but he could make anyone laugh. But Aaron, when was the last time Aaron Stein made you laugh? When?
Okay, like never, okay? I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to upset you.
It's all right.
It just doesn't make sense.
Since when does something have to make sense to happen? Okay, well, we'll understand more when they call back.
Absolutely. Totally.
What do you think they'll say?
A real kidnapper would make a demand.
Like,
I'll guess money? Do you have enough?
well, that depends
On what?
on how much they ask for. I mean, if it's a little, I do. Medium, probably. A lot, I don't know. And what is a lot? A medium, a little. Oh.
I don't know, Mom.
And what's it matter? Whatever they ask for, they'll get. Oh, Aaron hates not sleeping in his bed. I mean, that's why we don't take vacations anymore. The last time was the Jersey Shore. Aaron got sun poisoning. He glowed for a week.
Another fond family memory.
Are you hungry?
Well, I didn't have time for breakfast.
Well, I'm not making anything.
Then why'd you ask?
Because I can't worry about you being hungry, too.
Annie pours cereal.
Maybe we should call the cops.
Mom, no, then they'll kill him.
Why?
Because that's what they do.
Wait, is this from experience?
I only ran around with drug dealers. Yes, they beat up people, sometimes badly, but they never killed anyone.
You're probably right. The first thing the kidnappers say in the movies is don't call the police or else.
Except this guy didn't.
Is that a bad sign?
It's the introductory call. They wouldn't start with, "We have your husband. Give us $500,000 and we'll cut off an ear."
Oh, holy crap. Why'd you say that? Do you think they've heard him?
Not unless Daddy would be stupid enough to fight back.
Aaron, He uses an electric jar opener.
They stare at the cell. Marie suddenly grabs the phone.
What are you doing?
They called me. I'll call them.
I don't think that's smart. Did you freeze?
Yes.
Annie says, I don't think that's smart, Mom. And Marie eludes Annie, grabbing for the phone, and hits a button. There's a beep.
Yeah, hi. This is Marie Caputo Stein. We just talked. You've kidnapped my husband, Aaron Stein. I'd like some answers. You have my number. Thanks.
Sorry, I think she's...
That was stupid, wasn't it?
Annie says, personally, I wouldn't have called.
Oh, God. I got him killed. I'll apologize.
Yeah, Annie yanks the phone away and sits on it.
I have to do something.
What about Uncle William?
What about him?
Maybe he can help. That's what he does. Uncle William knows people.
Yeah, he knows people, and not the sort of people you want to know.
Exactly. He knows the sort of people who know what to do with people like these people. The doorbell rings, startling them.
Oh, it's Aaron.
Wait, wouldn't he just use his key?
Or maybe he lost it while they were torturing him. Aaron, honey, is that you?
I mean, really?
Oh,
Annie goes to the door.
be careful.
Annie brings in a plain shoebox.
Is that from them?
Well, there's no note, but who else would it be from?
Someone else?
When's the last time someone else rang the bell and left a shoebox? I can open it if you want.
No. If they've cut off his ear, I should be the one to see.
Marie removes Aaron's bloodied yarmulke. Marie's cell rings. Marie and Annie jump. Marie looks at the number and nods at Annie, who gestures for calm.
Hello? This is Marie Caputo Stein.
Did you get our package?
Yes, it just arrived. Now, I want to know if my husband's all right, or else I'm not talking to you.
Would you prefer I cut off his circumcised penis?
No, what? No, of course not.
Then show some respect for the process.
Why are you doing this? Why? Aaron is a nobody.
A big fat zero.
But he's still a Jew.
No, wait. You think he's a Jew? No. Aaron doesn't think of himself as a Jew. He's not religious or kosher.
He's never fasted, right?
Except for his colonoscopies.
And Aaron absolutely hates Bibi Netanyahu. Hates him.
Yeah, you see, you've got the wrong Jew.
Every Jew's the right Jew. We want $100,000 by noon tomorrow, or we'll kill the kike.
The call ends. Marie and Annie stare a moment. Scene.
Wow, super powerful.
Thank you. Good job, guys.
Yes.
Lost our Annie in the end. I don't know.
Technology.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to my phone. It just completely shut down out of nowhere.
Well, that's the beauty of having a polished professional team around you, because Michelle picked it up right away. But I do want to talk about the topic here because it's very interesting. You said something that hit my heart, and that was the fact, first of all, last week with the United Nations and Bibi Netanyahu. I am a United States representative for the World Zionist Congress, and I do support the Likud. And I have to say that, everybody can say for Bibi, against Bibi. Bibi is just like Donald Trump in so many ways. They are both ever-ready batteries. People want to hate them, but they can ask anybody in Israel who can run the Likud party like him. Ask anybody really, if they're honest in the Republican Party, and even Democrats will tell you, who should be the next president representing the Republican Party, and they can't come up with anybody. They all want Trump to stay. So they both are so similar. So I just want to say, and that's why I do a disclosure, because while this play might be against Bibi, this host is for Bibi, number one. And number two, I have to say that it was really interesting how you brought up, I don't even think people use the word kike anymore. I think that's an older generation discussion of anti-Semitism. I think it's really important that we really have it. Why we want to teach hate and everything. There are so many negative stereotype nicknames that we don't use anymore, that we have no idea whether it's Jewish, black, Asian, what we can and what we can't use. I think if people learned a lot about that, I think there'd be a lot less excuses to start a fight with somebody. I don't think our younger generations have a clue about any of these names, and they think it's so cute. And so, Gary, I congratulate you for showing everybody your age. And tell us why you wrote this, and at this time you want to debut it. Because right now it really is hitting a very strong topic of anti-Semitism.
Well, the play, as you'll see later, it's set in Mamdani's New York. So this is kind of what we're looking at. And, the degrees of bigotry and what people will do faced with bigotry and what might happen. And I think it's very important to show, for people to wake up, not just for, about the anti-Semitism, but also his other political beliefs, so-called political beliefs, which are very dangerous because people believe them, because it's very easy to believe them. And about Bibi, hating Bibi, often in my plays, the Jewish characters are not really, don't identify too much as Jews, as they've seen through, as we've seen through all the reading series. I don't write about the staunch Zionist. I write about the Jews at all. I really don't. I write about the Jews who don't really identify too much as Jews and are waking up. So it is a definition, as you rightly said, of a Jew who is not strongly identifying as a Jew, who would dislike Bibi Netanyahu. It's like knee-jerk. It's like the first thing that, Annie would say, because he hates Bibi, so how Jewish could he be? So it's the identifying, and plus the fact that Aaron he's no one. And he's, it could happen to anyone. And I think that's important.
Michelle, how did you approach this? Because you work with Gary all the time, and this is the debut of this play. So how did you approach this versus his other plays with anti-Semitism, with Brooklyn, so that it was unique?
This was very unique. It took a lot, as Gary will tell you. When we first discussed it at the beginning, I was taken back. I had to really process it. And then it's like with a lot of Gary's art. It's art, and you've got to process it, a little bit. Once you do, you say, I had my aha moment. And that is, it's like a one-man's crusade it's like, you can talk about your mother and say anything you want, but nobody else can, because you'll attack them. This is what happened to this man. He never really walked the streets identifying, I'm a Jew. I mean, look, he married Caputo, he did this, he did. But October 7th happened, and something changed. And the quiet man who never made any problems, made any motions, all of a sudden became protective, defensive, decided, I got to say something. I can't be silent like my friends. I've got to do something. We're not going to give away the whole what happens at the end, because you'd be very pleasantly surprised, everybody will, with how it turns around and what it's totally about. But if you just take that small piece and you look at it, it's difficult, honestly, to take that small piece and get the idea of the play, a lot of it.
Are you sharing any more of the play with us today?
No, because I didn't think we would have any more time.
Okay. I'm glad, because I'm going to do then I guess, well, my closing is about October 7th, so
Right.
I want you guys to keep that in mind. So I'm going to go to Jackie. How did you feel doing this play?
Oh, I see us all. I think about the fact that I don't wear a yarmulke out on the street, and here is Aaron putting it on, and I guess I don't know if you're aware, I was a cantor for 39 years, and I on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur I went outside and with my yarmulke and my suit, and it was just interesting because the Jews that I am part of, my community, do not wear yarmulkes. And I'll tell you a quick, interesting story. My son, when he was in sales, went to a Hasidic family, and and it was pouring. He was trying to sell them something, and the Hasidic man said, "Oh, here, take the umbrella." He was very nice, and my son said, "All right, I'll bring it right back to you. And my car's just a block down. I'll just drive the car back and give you the umbrella." And he said, "No, you touched it. It's not kosher." So
But that's not everybody. I could tell you 500,000 other stories that are just reverse, including things that just happened with me. So that's a very rare situation. I mean,
right. My point being,
don't stereotype all of us like that.
No, my point being, there are so many different factions of Jews as there are so many different factions of human beings.
Correct. And Deborah, it's so good to have you back. And tell us how you approach this.
I mean, I realize we're seeing a tiny little snippet of the whole piece, but I think Marie loves her husband. I think he's a very quiet, sort of insular being, and suddenly, all of a sudden, he's going out into the world. And I think, considering, even before October 7th, considering the political climate, I think she is very concerned in a way for his safety that he's wearing the yarmulke. She doesn't want to say that. I don't think she wants to belittle him, but I think there is a certain amount of fear about wearing, if you will, the label of, being a Jew, wearing the yarmulke. She loves her husband. She's protective of her husband. She's seriously concerned. And I don't think in a million years she would think that she'd be getting a call from a kidnapper for her husband of all people. So there is the shock factor of how could this possibly happen to my quiet, man who's finally decided he's going to go out into the world again and participate and do something, and then this horrible thing happens.
So Gary, is she a Jewish wife or a non-Jewish wife married to a Jew?
He's Italian-American.
Caputo.
A Caputo.
Yes.
And I am an Italian-American woman with a Jewish partner. So there you go.
You know what? Today you can't mention anything with names because there are people, first of all, Sephardic Jews sound like a lot of Italian names. There are blacks with the last name Cohn. We live in a world that we really, we have a great mix of everything.
Right.
I've learned not to ask that because you never know.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to talk, the play does delve into the fact when you have a mixed marriage in these times now. It used to be before October 7th, and anti-Semitism was rising, but it's a whole different ballgame now.
Yeah.
There's different pressures on people.
Correct.
And it's easy for Jews. I've been disappointed by a lot of people, and I'm not disappointed anymore. I don't, count how many people say, Happy New Year. Or people who ever ask me how I am, or isn't that, it's off the radar screen. And so you get as a Jew in America, you can be hypersensitive and you say, why aren't you asking? But then most people have moved on with their lives. So It's like a dynamic. What's the balance? When you love people and you're supposed to be there because they're in danger, how much is expected of you? If it's not the world you come from. Because now in this country, there's a divide again between, we're not yet in Berlin in 1933, but you are looked at a little differently now as a Jew. It's a shock to many of us who grew up and could never imagine this happening. And that's not a unique perspective. Too many people have that. So what do you expect of the people you loved? And I think the play with Marie and Aaron, and also dig in more because Aaron's not like an observant Jew.
Right.
He just bought the yarmulke at Amazon. I mean, he's so it's a lot to the nature of love.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
also
don't talk a lot about this. This brings up a whole other arena that people are not discussing in this, and that the children of intermarriage and how they are involved. And it's not just a Jew, non-Jew, black and white, Hispanic, black. I mean, it's in all these. And that's becoming a big majority around the world. And I think that might be, somewhat of a confusion, or it depends which half of the glass you're drinking.
Right.
Me, as an Orthodox Jew, I have probably different opinions than others, but it's something that has to be addressed that's not addressed enough. I mean, in Israel, no one talks about on October 7th how Muslims were murdered, how people who were Jewish were with Muslim partners. That's not discussed. Nothing is ever discussed anymore about in 9/11, how many people from how many different countries were murdered in those buildings. It wasn't an American. It wasn't in Israel. This was an international. And we hear all the time stories. Sarah Ferguson was supposed to be in the building. There was a famous actor who was supposed to be in one of the Twin Towers. And when people start relating to it more as it's a family or a neighbor or somebody they idolize, it's a different discussion that no one is having anymore because no one wants to have it.
Because it contrasts with the narrative.
Correct.
Right.
Now we all want to know where are we going to see this play? We want to find out the ending.
Well,
Invite us
we're working
back.
We're working. Let's work on it. Yes.
We'll talk about it.
Yes.
Because this is really fascinating and it's really timely. And it also addresses a very big issue of crime, how crime is acceptable. And that's a universal discussion. Where would you think in a million years a simple guy like this would be unless he's part of the mafia, which I didn't get that feeling.
No, he's not part of, no.
Unless he's a secret agent, I didn't get that feeling. So unless where a person like this would be kidnapped in the first place, discussions have, it brings up the big issue of crime and how it affects us all and how scared people are to go everywhere. Yeah. And as bad as it was in the 70s, I think with the advancements of education, with social media, with the wide range of driving illegally on the streets and getting away with things on the public transportation, the subways, the buses, this is really a very interesting topic to take away from being a Jew or being a non-Jew. This is a whole topic of safety. And I think anybody who's a mayor in a city, I don't want to say blue city, but I hate to say it, but it is true, has to really address. I mean, and that's a great way to bring this play together. We are all victims in a way.
Yes.
We are all this character.
Yes.
Whether or not you wear a yarmulke, whether or not you're hanging out with a big cross. Let's not forget about what's been going on at churches. We don't talk about all the murders around the world in Africa and in the Middle East of all the Christians, the churches being burnt in Europe, in America. This play could really go into we just got the trunk of the tree and the branches of it are really incredible. I actually, I liked a dog named Charlie because I thought that was quite different in a cutesy way. And I think this is a really different play to address as a play of fear, to alert people.
And there's going to be a part 2. I'm not going to give you the title because that would be a spoiler. It's a two-part. There's another play that would follow this.
We're going to talk about it, and I have to be honest with you. I really want to see this, so I'm going to be in touch with you guys to make something happen here. We've got to make something very exciting happen and to really get it going, because this really, I'm very honored you picked my show to have it as a world debut, but now you whet our appetite. We have to find out what happens.
Okay, will do.
Anybody have any more final thoughts?
Just thank you for having us on.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being such a great team. I know it's not easy, and you guys made it enjoyable. And we will talk about this. I think there are several really timely topics here. And I want to thank Gary again with his team, Michelle, Deborah, Jackie. Who else was on?
Jason.
Okay, and who's been on the other shows that had?
Arthur Gregory Pugh.
And who else?
Judy Brendan Coldenau.
Did it, Judy? Yes, Judy.
You have a nice little troupe here. And again, I want to just announce to everybody, we could do these readings live. We can do them as plays in the setting of props and costumes and surprise guests.
Yeah.
So reach out to me, Cindy Gross, Grosz, or Gary Morgenstein, and we will make something happen for you. And like I said, he's going to be showing this in Florida. He's done others across the country. Please feel free to reach out. I am going to actually have to get to my closing because it's all about October 7th and about what's happening next week. So I want to thank you all. You could stay on and listen, or you could do whatever you want, but I've got to get into my closing word, pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. And with that, the show is coming to a close. I do want to talk about my pearls of wisdom that in the closing, because I hope I'm giving you some food for thought this week. First of all, I want to say, due to the holidays, I will not be here the next few weeks, especially since the holidays really come out all on Tuesdays. Next Tuesday is October 7th. It's the first day of Sukkot. For me, personally, it's my favorite holiday of the year. It is literally 8 days of eating and drinking and partying and being with friends and celebrating and praying with, and just the prayers that we use, a lulav and an esrog, and then we culminate it with Simchat Torah, dancing all night with our Torah, beginning the reading of the Torah again. It's just the most incredible week of being a proud Jew and having an incredible history that's lasted thousands of years. For me, it's also kind of bittersweet because my father passed away 10 years ago during Sukkot, and this year it happens to be on Yom Kippur. We're going to be remembering him. But his favorite holiday was Sukkot, building a sukkah. We had a huge sukkah growing up, with hundreds of people coming to a catered event. We have what we call Simcha Beitz HaSho'evas, musical entertainment, and all different great foods, and decorating in the little hut. I mean, I remember my son as a little boy and his friends taking their sleeping bags out and sleeping in the hut, because you're going to see people doing everything in the hut for the next, during the week of Sukkot. But 2 years ago, at the end of Sukkot, was October 7th. And I remember distinctly, my husband he goes to temple early, and he came home to get me, and he said something really bad happened in Israel. Somebody not Jewish told them. And we couldn't imagine what it was. Was it just another bus attack, a stabbing? Never in our minds did we ever think that we were going to be living through an October 7th. Never in our minds did we think that the equivalent of 40,000, I believe, Americans, if you had to compare the populations, would have been burnt, raped, body pieces cut apart, slaughtered, homes destroyed, You name it, it happened. I have been involved in hostage walks. I have met with former hostages. I have met with IDF soldiers. I hosted a special memorial for Ori Danino's mom. He was one of the 7 executed last July. And of course, last year, the America First Warehouse did an Unsung Hero Award for local heroes who have devoted their time and efforts to remembering the victims of October 7th. There are many people locally who are unsung heroes. There are many on Long Island, in New York, around the country that are American lone soldiers fighting in Israel. I can't believe it's almost 2 years, almost 775 days, or 770, as that's such a significant number, and we still don't have hostages home. I can't believe that so many young men and women in their 20s have died on the battlefields. If one Jew dies, it's like it's the whole world dies. So now figure thousands of them dying. It's like a big part of our population. And they're not fighting just for Israel, they're fighting for democracy. And that's what people don't understand. Israel is fighting the battle to save Western civilization. It's very funny. I wrote an article the other day that when I was invited to meet Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during one of his UN speeches a few years ago, the very same countries that walked out on them were standing and cheering for him and honoring him because he was presenting to these countries that was many of them so underdeveloped an advanced irrigation system so that they could have more water and that more of their crops could grow and that people could drink safely. I don't know what happened in 6 years. These people are totally confusing. I guess they didn't realize that the Waze on their phones, the app, came from Israel, and that many of them had to use it with their Uber drivers to get to the United Nations General Assembly. We must do a better job of doing all kinds of factual sharing about how we are all in this together. And for that, I want to thank President Donald J. Trump, because he is willing to take a stand where so many people won't. I can't thank him enough. And I want to thank each and every one of you, whether or not you're Republican or Democrat or Independent, because any of you with common sense understands the importance of what October 7th means, not just for Israel, not just for Jews, but for freedom of religion, freedom for women's rights and education, and the freedoms that we have fought so hard for generations. I want to say thank you to all of you. And again, if you are celebrating Shana Tova, may you all have an easy and meaningful fast. And we will have some repeats of the plays in the next couple of weeks, and I will see you soon.